It was exactly 6:03 a.m. when I stepped outside, barefoot and in my pajamas, and saw a glaring red sign nailed across my ranch gate. Notice of property seizure. Enforcement in progress. My coffee mug nearly slipped from my hand. The gate hung crooked, half off its hinges like someone had kicked it open. My heart dropped. A heavy construction truck idled at the end of my private drive, and 3 strangers in reflective vests strolled around my land like it belonged to them. One gestured toward my barn, another pointed at my stables. Then I saw her, Denise Hartford. Mid-50s, blonde bob, power, walking down my gravel driveway in heels like she was headed to a board meeting, not an illegal land grab. Her HOA name tag glittered in the morning light like some cheap badge from a costume store. In her hand, a clipboard and a folder labeled confiscation orders. "You were warned," she snapped, voice sharp as barbed wire. "You refused to comply. The association is seizing all properties under your name." "All?" I asked, stunned. She tapped her heels twice. "All 5 parcels. The board has deemed you unfit to manage them according to community standards. It's in the resolution." "I'm not even in your HOA," I said. She leaned in, a smug smirk on her face. "You are now." That was the moment a guy in a vest kicked my livestock gate open. My horses panicked. Chickens darted. My dog growled at my feet. And I reached for my phone, hands shaking. That's when the war started. 3 months earlier, everything was different. My name is Landon Rowe. I'm 54, a veteran and owner of Whisper Ridge Ranch, 240 acres of blood, sweat, and 22 years of backbreaking work. I wasn't born rich. I bought my first 5 acres at 32. By 50, I had a full working ranch with cabins, a fishing pond, barns, and a lodge. We hosted summer camps, horseback rides for vets, and kept a food pantry in the big red barn. Then Denise Hartford moved into the newly built Grandview Hills HOA next door. She introduced herself as the president of expansion. I didn't think much of it. She seemed polite. Too polite. "Mr. Rowe," she said, smiling with her lips but not her eyes. "We're expanding our neighborhood improvement initiatives. You'll be hearing from us soon." I laughed. "Ma'am, I'm not part of your HOA." She just blinked. "Not yet." That was my first warning. 2 weeks later, I got an envelope. Notice, violation of Code 403C. It claimed I was within Grandview Hills extended jurisdiction. Said my guest cabins were unapproved dwellings, my fences didn't meet visual harmony standards, and my dock hadn't gone through their architectural board. I called my attorney, Martin. He laughed. "Not legal. Toss it." But Denise didn't stop. She began showing up at my fence line. Clipboard. Photos. Her compliance officer flew a drone over my ranch. Then the fines started showing up. $250 for visible farm equipment. $400 for unregistered livestock. $900 for ignoring citations. All garbage. Organized garbage. At the county clerk's office, they dropped a bombshell. Grandview Hills HOA filed a petition to include nearby properties, including yours, into their jurisdiction. It's under review. I drove straight to Denise's house. "You need to quit this," I told her. "This is my land. You can't take it." She smiled. "You have so much land, Mr. Rowe. Surely you can spare some. Let the HOA handle it properly." I left before I said something I'd regret. 2 weeks later, property taxes surged. A zoning violation appeared on my lodge. My bank flagged discrepancies. Denise had filed a fraudulent lien using forged HOA board signatures. I filed a counterclaim, but Denise moved faster. And now we were back at my gate. Her goons on my soil. Her bulldozers rolling up the dirt road. I called the sheriff. "They're trespassing. They're claiming an injunction." "Sir," the dispatcher said, "a judge signed a temporary enforcement order last night. Until it's lifted, we can't intervene." I hung up, furious. Denise stood by her black SUV, arms crossed like she owned the damn place. Her security officer stepped forward. "Please step back, sir. This is an active compliance operation." "Or what?" "Mr. Rowe," Denise called, "you should have signed over the parcels. Now we enforce." I turned and marched to my office. Slapped down my land deeds, tax receipts, registration logs. Called Martin. "I need you here." He arrived within the hour, flipping through their paperwork. "This is a disaster," he said. "They're using loopholes, gray zones, If that judge is crooked, they'll bury you in litigation. This isn't about fines. They're absorbing your ranch. That night, Denise appeared on local news. We're bringing order and beauty to formerly neglected properties. Drone footage showed my ranch intentionally cropped to look overgrown. Public opinion split. Some backed me. Others bought her story. Day 3, I woke to find my front gate gone. In its place, a sign, "Welcome to Whisper Ridge, a proud Grandview HOA property." I exploded. Stormed into the county courthouse. Demanded to see her injunction filings. And there it was. My signature. Except it wasn't mine. Martin saw it and grinned. "We have her." We filed a motion. Right as we submitted it, the courthouse lights flickered. Power died. Filing system crashed. Staff whispered someone triggered a shutdown. We suspected sabotage. Next morning, we brought hard copies. That night, my cabins caught fire. Arson. 2 destroyed. Paint thinner canister left behind. Partial prints linked to a known HOA contractor. Not enough to charge, but enough to smell the rot. I called everyone I trusted. My old army buddies. My cousin Jesse in media. I sent them documents, photos, names. And then I remembered something. 3 years back, I signed a preservation easement with a conservation group. Federal protection. If violated, it triggered federal review. We flew a drone over the protected zone. Denise's crew had already bulldozed part of it. Flattened trees. Dug drainage. Clear violation. We filed an emergency complaint with Fish and Wildlife. That night, a black SUV sat at my gate. No plates. Tinted windows. I approached with a shotgun. They sped off. Later, someone slashed my tires. Cut power to the house. Denise wasn't just after my land. She wanted me ruined. Friday, I went to a town hall. Told everything. Fire. Forgery. Federal violation. Neighbors stood, backing me one by one. The next morning, a letter arrived from the state attorney general. An investigation was underway. Then Martin called. "Denise filed a claim with your bank. She says your land loan was paid using HOA funds, giving them equity." That's a lie. I used a private trust. My uncle's. We proved it. Wire transfers. Notarized receipts. Her paper trail? Forged. Next morning, I fired a warning shot at her drone. Deputies showed up. And with them, a man I'd heard about, a developer. He offered me $75,000 to vacate. "Not for the dirt under my boot," I said. "Then you'll be gone by force," he muttered. At 3 a.m. That night, they came. 5 trucks. Bulldozers. Reflective vests. Denise at the front, heels clicking. Her men moved with crowbars. "This land is under federal protection," I yelled. "You cross this gate, you're committing a federal crime." Denise waved them forward. Then floodlights lit up. A drone hovered above, recording. Martin arrived with attorneys. Loudspeaker blaring. "All of this is being recorded. Step away. A federal cease and desist order is en route." One by one, the trucks backed out. Then the Fish and Wildlife agent arrived. Handed Denise a sealed envelope. "Federal injunction. Immediate halt." 2 days later, I got an anonymous email. A video from inside the HOA boardroom. Denise laughing with the developer. "If he doesn't sign, we bury him. One way or another." I sent it to the FBI. Within days, an indictment. Denise, her developer, the judge, all facing charges. Then my bank account froze. Denise's final move. A claim I laundered money through unregistered rentals. But I'd already transferred funds to a preservation nonprofit in Jesse's name. News broke nationwide. Veteran rancher defeats HOA tyranny. Denise was arrested. The HOA dissolved. The judge disbarred. And I stood, boots in the dirt, staring over Whisper Ridge. The land was safe. But the story didn't end there. I took the donations people sent and launched the Landkeeper Project, a legal network for victims of HOA abuse. Within 3 months, 10,000 members. We exposed dozens of crooked associations. Forced reform. Sometimes, I walk to the edge of my pasture, dog at my side, and stare where Denise's fence once stood. If you're out there, and someone's trying to break you, remember this. You don't need power. You need grit. And sometimes the most dangerous thing in the world is a man who refuses to kneel.